Hey there, friends. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dominique from the Pixie Planner. Thank you so much for stopping by again. Today, I am going to be sharing with you how I've been using the Budget-By-Paycheck Workbook, and this is from the Budget Mom. I've done a video of a quick flip through of this particular binder system. It's a printable that I purchased from her website, and I decided to go with this particular binder because I am new to budgeting, and the ones that I've been looking at, I felt very overwhelmed with. And this was just nice and simple, and she does videos to go along with it. And so this has just been working so well. I've only been in it for 1 month, so I used for the whole month of January. I did flop a couple times with keeping track of things because I'm also doing a cash-only system, which is completely new for me. I have unfortunately been attached to my debit card and never ever carried cash on me. So that was a huge change for me. It's been an adjustment. But I am going to have my first paycheck for the month of February coming this Friday. And I want to go ahead and show you how I would set up and prep myself for my cash envelopes and, what bills are going to go into this paycheck. So I'm going to kind of walk you through how I'm setting this up. So I'll give you a quick glance here. In the front, I just kind of keep a little cheat sheet here for myself. These are the cash envelopes that I like to keep on hand. I broke it up to be a little kind of generic. Like, I'm not going into too much detail like with fun. That can be my hobbies, that can be for clothes, that can be for, few different areas. So I didn't want to get too detailed, wanted to keep it a little bit kind of simple to the point. So these are the cash envelopes that I have, and these are sinking funds that I am not succeeding in just yet. I'm trying to save up for my sinking funds just to take care of those yearly or quarterly events that happen. So they don't kind of pop up in your face last minute. So I'm going to just keep this out because I will be looking at some of that as I prep things. Then I have a zipper pocket here in the front that I purchased from Staples. And I like to keep in here my highlighters that I use for color coding. And these are some mild liners. I absolutely love the mild liners. I'm not a fan of the super bright highlight, so these are just perfect, and they work really well with the paper I have in here. I originally printed on 28-pound paper, 24-pound paper, and there's a little bit of bleed through, but not too bad. And then I went through and reprinted a couple of the months with 28-pound just to kind of see the difference with it. So it's going to bleed through a little bit less, but that doesn't bother me. It's just for my budgeting. I don't need to be like all particular with it. So that is where I keep my highlighters. In the front here, I just have my savings tracker. This is for my sinking funds. And I have a couple other trackers here for debt payoff, more specifically our cars. So to do a quick look here of January, this is my monthly spread, just kind of looking at a glance what I have going on for payments, any appointments that I have where I'm gonna need to make a payment towards. So we haven't been able to save much for sinking funds because Maggie, our dog, has had it's like one vet appointment a week. She's not doing the greatest, but it's not absolutely horrendous. We're gonna have to do surgery. So a lot of our money is tied up in that right now. So unfortunately, as far as savings, we haven't been able to do much. We're just kind of trying to survive. So I have highlighted here, the yellow is going to be all the bills that I pay with my first paycheck of the month, and the pink is going to be all the bills that I pay with my second paycheck. So I'll go into more detail with you when I get into February. Let's just flip right to February. Okay, so what I have here, now you might be kind of thinking, well, wait a minute, this is the second paycheck of the month. How is she paying these bills with that paycheck? So going back to my January, it's still pink. That second paycheck is always going to be pink for me. So this is that paycheck from January. So I've paid those bills off, and now for my payday on Friday, I have my electric, I have some blood work to pay, water, and my auto. And actually, I could pay my Verizon bill with this as well, but I'm not going to worry about it, because even if I'm a day late on my Verizon, on the cell phone bill, they don't hit you with like a crazy fee. It doesn't hurt your credit. So I kind of weigh which is going to be most important, least important if I'm super, super tight on cash. I won't have any problem paying that off with this paycheck, but I might as well just go ahead and take care of it with the second one. So when I'm looking here at my pay period for the 8th, I'm going to go onto this page that is going to break down my monthly bills. So I would write my income here. I'll leave that blank just for a little privacy. You're seeing all the other bills, but I'll leave my income blank. And what I'll do is I'll kind of show you how I would write in my bills that I have. I don't do like a budgeted or actual. I just go ahead and put actual because I already know exactly what my bill is going to be. They don't vary. It's the same every single month. So I would kind of flip, to the monthly spread, take a look at what I have going on that is going to need to be paid for that pay period and list it out. I have here a little sticky note that's just kind of a reminder. I want to try to always put like $40 from that paycheck or each paycheck towards my checking account, because ultimately I want to have always $1,000 in my checking account. And that is as like an emergency, a different type of emergency. It's not an emergency fund, but say there's a bill that's a little bit more expensive than you thought, or something unexpected is gonna pop up. That's why I want to make sure that I have that security so I'm not overdrawing, because I only use my checking account to pay bills, because the majority of my bills, pretty much every single one of them actually, is online. I can't go anywhere to pay it with cash. So that's the only thing I use my checking account for. And then if my husband decides to, put some money towards savings, he'll a lot of times just Venmo me that amount. So, that's another time where it goes into my checking. So I have this kind of note that I just take with me from like paycheck to paycheck. So I just always have that in mind. So let's go ahead and fill out the monthly bills. So I mentioned that I have my CMP, that's our electric bill, and it is $115.25. That's the most it has ever been, like in the winter time. We're trying to figure out, we installed a new heating system. We're trying to figure out how to run it most efficiently. So unfortunately, that means we are paying a little bit more in our electric bills right now until we get it all straightened out. So I have my blood work and my water bill that is due. and then my auto payments. And actually, nope, that's a 4. Sometimes I think I should probably just write this in pencil because, yeah, numbers and I don't mix. I'm not a numbers person at all, and that's why I've never budgeted. But that's the awesome thing about this workbook. It's so easy. So, and like I said, her videos are outstanding. So if you need someone to like go into major layman's terms with you and like, you know, step by step, amazing. I love it. Okay, so I have all of my bills written in that are definitely going to need to be paid. So I'm going to write in here that we want to put the $40 towards like that cushion, because especially right now, because I have been having to take from our savings account and actually transfer into the checking account because of the stuff that's going on with Maggie. So unfortunately, I need to make sure that we're staying in the zone. So I'm going to total all of this up, and then this total is going to give me a leftover amount. So I'm going to, in other words, I will subtract the total from my income, and the remaining amount I will be able to then put towards my cash envelopes. And with that, it's really, this last month, I kind of got a better idea of how much I really need to be spending on like food, on health or beauty stuff, Maggie. So it always, for me, changes a little bit. And this coming up week, I actually won't be needing to put too much towards my cash envelopes because I do have a little bit left over from my previous pay period. So that's going to be nice. And I am hoping that's going to help us, you know, with being able to put some into our savings. So I am going to go ahead and total this up, and then we're going to move on to the cash envelope. Okay, so I went ahead and I totaled all of this up, and I subtracted it from what my income amount would be. So that includes my paycheck, and then also any money that is left over from my checking account from the previous paycheck. So all of that is going to be kind of thrown in together because I want to make sure that I am giving every dollar purpose. So that leaves me with $840.94. Now my cash envelopes will go here and write these in real quick. So like I said, I don't go into much detail breaking up my cash envelopes with like, eating out or theater, entertainment, things like that. I have just kind of summed it into as few categories as possible. So what I have here, and I'll kind of go through them again a little bit more. So groceries, that's pretty much going to be any food. Even if we're going to eat out, that's going to be any food. My fun money, that's going to be like if I want to go to the bar with a friend or go get coffee, if I want to buy some planner supplies, anything along the lines of that, that'll be my fun money. So health and beauty, that will pertain to supplements, doctor's appointments, hair appointments, anything along the lines of that. For Maggie, that's going to be her food, her vet visits, of course, anything for her. Gas, just gas money. Miscellaneous, this is where I kind of leave that for, like, if I want to go to the vending machine and get a soda or something like that. Like, we have a vending machine at work, and sometimes I'll get pretzels from there or a water. Or if I want to go and get someone a birthday card, things that kind of don't necessarily go in any of these other spots, or they won't necessarily cost me that much money. I usually do just like $10 for miscellaneous. And so I kind of put it in that section, just random things. So for groceries, I typically will go ahead and put about $150 towards groceries, and we're gonna stick with that same thing. I don't have any hair appointments coming up or anything major like that, but I will make sure if I need to refill prescriptions or anything like that, which I do have that coming up, I'll make sure that I am certainly covered for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put, since this is for the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna go ahead and put 100 in here. Because the good thing is, if I am giving myself too much, whatever is left over can roll into the next pay period, or I can go ahead and put that amount towards my savings. So I can go ahead to the bank and have everything that was left over collected and then have the teller put it in my savings account. And so there's a lot of wiggle room with that. I'm not going to freak out if it's too much. What am I going to do? Because it's going to be going back somewhere. Now for Maggie, we have a surgery for her coming up this week. And the surgery is going to be costing a lot more than what I have available. So we unfortunately are going to have to use our emergency funds that we've been building up towards it. But, you know, that's what it's there for. So with Maggie, I'm just going to factor in kind of her food and maybe the vet visits as checkups after. So I'm going to go ahead and dedicate $200 to her for the next 2 weeks. You never know. And then for gas, it's usually about $20. Miscellaneous, like I mentioned, it's usually about $10 that I will dedicate to that. Now, for fun money, we probably won't be using that much since we're going to be keeping an eye on Maggie and, you know, helping her through the healing stage. So I am probably going to just dedicate $50 to that. So that gives us, so we've got 200, 300, we have 500, so 530 we have here. And that is actually pretty awesome because that leaves about $300, $310 left over. So that amount we could either put towards debt payment. My husband and I have our cars. We have 2 cars and our mortgage left with debt. So our cars are almost paid off. I have a lease and he purchased his, owns his. So at this point, I feel like we definitely need to put that money towards savings to get back into our emergency fund since we are spending quite a bit on Maggie right now. I want to build that up. So I'm going to focus on the emergency fund with that remaining amount. And so what I'm going to put here is emergency. Okay, and that's going to be for the emergency account that we have. And the remaining amount, let me go ahead and calculate real quick. Can you guys, like, are you guys super quick at calculating stuff in your head? My husband is, and it drives me nuts. I cannot. I don't know what, my brain just did not get used to numbers, and I always have to have a calculator on hand. Thank God our phones have calculators in them because, yeah, it's problematic for me. So now we have the dedicated amount for the emergency fund. So when I go to the bank on Friday, my paycheck is direct deposit, but I'm gonna go to the bank on Friday. I have everything broken down here for what I need. So what I am going to do is go ahead and transfer my categories over to this section and figure out what I want the breakdown to be. And then there's a great cutout here that you can go ahead and cut out and hand it to the teller. Everything is set to go. You don't have to sit there at the desk and fumble around with your computer or your calculator and try to figure things out. So what I'll do real quick now is I will go ahead and transfer this over to here, and I'll show you how I break down each area. Okay, so we have everything transferred over. So what I like to do, and actually the Budget Mom, she recommends that you do the highest denomination because it makes it harder, that much harder to spend. When you have $100 bill in your hand, it's not quite as easy handing that over as it is, you know, a couple fives or even a 20. So when I look at each section, I kind of take that into consideration, especially for areas that you are more likely to overspend. So my groceries, I've been really good about, but that is definitely an area where I'm going to go ahead and have at least 10, 2 20s, and 1 100. Fun money, it's only $50. I'm not going to be doing too much the next couple weeks with Maggie not being up to par, so we're going to be spending a lot of time at home. I'm going to keep those as smaller bills. The health and beauty, I will go ahead and do a $100 bill because I can potentially spend a little bit too much in that section. So that $100 bill is going to be helpful to deter me from going out and buying a bunch of makeup at the drugstore. So that's going to be a $100 for Maggie. I'm going to do 2 $100 bills. For my gas, I'll do $120, the miscellaneous $110. Okay, so now you can come down and total how much of everything you're going to need, and then you can go ahead and total it even further. So this is going to be $30. This is going to be $60. Wait, no. 20. Oh gosh, see, here's my brain again, not wanting to work. So that's gonna be actually $100. And then here we have $400. And then I would go ahead and transfer it over to the cutout and hand that to the teller and be done with. So it's awesome. I will be able to keep this and see exactly how I broke everything up as I'm able to go ahead and give this to her. So him or her, you never know. But now I'm going to go ahead and just transfer all of this over, and then we have 4 of those. The total then comes out to $530. Okay, so that is it, guys. I hope this was interesting and maybe a little helpful for those of you who are trying to get into budgeting or trying to find a system that is easy enough and obviously, you know, that works for you. And I've been really, really happy with this system. I can't rave enough about it. So If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I will do the best I can to answer. Again, I am not a financial person, but if you have any, questions on how I came up with any of the numbers that I showed you, since a lot of these, again, I mentioned, you kind of just have to play with and see where you're spending most of your money, and it's trial and error for sure. I'm still trying to figure things out, but for my first month and just a little over a month, I am super, super happy. It's been working great. So again, thank you so much for joining me on this video, and I would love it if you would please consider subscribing, like the video, and hit that bell so you can be notified as soon as I upload a new video. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you again soon in my next one. Bye.